Welcome, everybody, to the future of StarCraft 2 and to day 2 of our ProBots Season 1 tournament here in 2023. I am Andy Man. With me is Endersword. Are you ready for some games, Endersword?
I am very ready for some games, and especially seeing
Excellent.
some of the new bots this week.
Yeah, we have some really strong bots going at it this season, and it is going to be a lot of fun. We're going into our groups C and D today. So, hold on, I gotta mute something. There we go. Endersword, last week we were a little negligent. We didn't talk too much about how this tournament works.
Very true.
So, anybody, if you're just joining us, if you have just found ProBots, thank you. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us, and hopefully you enjoy the games. But we're going to tell you a little bit about how this all works. So we have 16 bots, Endersword. Where do these bots come from?
They come from space, out deep in outer space. Either that, or some of them have been made by human authors that will basically. There's a lovely
most
community.
Of them,
most of them are that.
Have been
They're
made,
not from deep space. Authors. At least one of them's from deep space. But I think Micro Machine's from the jungle or the ocean. Or we'll see later where he's from.
It's hard to tell. He takes a lot of corrects throughout.
But we've got a lovely community of bot authors that have been doing this for several years now. About a year or so before we started doing tournaments for it. But basically, there's a Discord for it. There's websites for it. Great community.
AIarena.net, right?
Yeah. Is that it? It is indeed.
Go to AIarena.net right now if you want to become a bot author as well.
Yeah. So good, strong community. Then we end up taking from that AI Arena the top 16, or basically we take 4 qualifiers from last season and then the top 12 from that current ladder, provided that they're not already qualified.
Usually the top 4 from the previous season are in that top 16.
Usually, yeah. That's rarely not been the case. And then sometimes someone drops out or whatever, but that's basically how we get them. So they qualify through that ladder, and then so what you're seeing is the top portion of that.
Excellent. That was a good analysis, Endersword.
I reckon. That. Yeah, it's just statements. And yeah, you're right. The first time we didn't really talk about the format. I think some people, we know that a lot of the people watching this may not be normal esports StarCraft fans, but the format that we're using is essentially GSL format. So where we start with a group stage and 2 basically groups of 4. So there are 4 groups of 4. Players will play each other once. The winners of those 2 matches will go to a winner's match. The losers will go to a loser's match. And then ultimately the winner of the winners will go through to a bracket. The winner of the losers will go to a basically consolation match to then also make it through. So basically the top 2 in a group get out.
Yeah. So in about 4 weeks, we'll have 8 bots eliminated, or something like that. 5 weeks. In a few weeks, we'll have 8 of these bots eliminated, and we'll be opening up a fantasy bracket where you can actually play along with us and predict who you think is going to win this whole thing. And it's a lot of fun, so definitely stay tuned for that. We'll have all that information in the Discord and things like that. All right, we got a few things to talk about before we get started here. So again, ProBots is now its own separate channel. You're here on it, ProBots on YouTube. Go tell everybody about it. If you go search in the YouTube chat search bar, ProBots. Tonight's stream was the first thing that popped up for me. I don't know if that's just an algorithm thing because I watch it or what, but tell your friends to go
usually
search ProBots.
I think YouTube does tend to put the live streams up if there is one at the time. Yeah. But if you go view when it's not on, then maybe not. But I think it at least tells you when the next one is. So that's good. What we're looking at here, though, is last week's. So this was last week's matchups. We had Eris versus Zigster, where Zigster was a new bot. Benbot versus Tyr. Petrock versus Dominion. And Xena, which is our only random bot, was against Sharpened Edge. Yeah. And I think we're going to update that to what today's is in a moment. But yeah, we've got some good ones tonight. We've got Sharkbot versus Dovakin as our first match up.
Group G, by the way.
Yes. And Sharkbot is definitely one of those bots that's super creative. There's been a few iterations of bots from the Sharkbot's author that we've seen, and Sharkbot can play macro games, can play some very cheesy starts. We'll see what we get this time around. and Dovakin is a relatively new for us Zerg player that has shown some promise, particularly
2 seasons now.
Yeah, two
think,
or
right?
three. Yeah, maybe three.
Three?
Three sounds
I
right.
think 3.
We'll see on their stat card later. But yeah,
Oh no, it's only
only
second season, I guess.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, unless we're
think
missing something
maybe-
in our change.
I know
log
that
there.
one of ours last week said it was their first, but it was their second as well. So I thought Dovakin,
Yeah.
we've been at least 2
Our
seasons,
info's not
but
always
maybe
up
I'm
to
wrong. But yeah, Dovakin is, I know, had some strong like timing based openers and like very kind of tightly put together build orders. So we'll see if we see any of that this week.
Well, I like how I like Sharkbot's play a lot. I'll
go.
tell you what, he definitely brings a fun game, and he's a risk taker, which is a lot of fun to watch. He does a lot of like proxy things. He goes for oracles, which we see almost no other Protoss doing, which is still in this stage a little bit risky to go for that oracle.
Yeah, it is. We usually see them not pay off when people do them. They're really hard to control because they don't have an automatic attack. You have to activate an ability and target something. So it's a little tricky to do, and they can be easily pushed away, or you have to have a certain amount of, they're shy by nature in that they'll avoid things like turrets or if there's any anti-air. So you have to balance out what is an acceptable amount of danger to walk the oracle into. So that can be difficult. Maybe we'll see some of those tonight. Although against a Zerg, you're less often going to see it because you know that a queen's going to be there. So it's less likely, but it's certainly possible. Yeah.
Well, I think we have some info about these two. You just saw our groups tonight. So again, we're doing group C and D, the upper portions of both those. Here in group C, we've got Sharkbot sitting at 2217 ELO. That is, again, the AIarena.net ranking system for anybody who doesn't know. You can go over there and check out their current ladder and kind of where the rankings are and who's on top and you know what's going on. They actually just finished their tournament a couple weeks ago as well. A really fun tournament where Eris actually just beat Sharkbot. Sharkbot got second place. So had a really good run through that tournament, but then Eris, just the mighty Eris, is so hard to beat. But here tonight, we'll see what he can do against not quite an Eris level Zerg. It's hard to call anybody an Eris level because no one's at Eris's level at this moment.
It is indeed tough. And
here is Dovakin.
Yeah, Dovakin has finished third in a previous season. And yeah, see, that was back in 2021. So this
so this is
definitely more than definitely more than the second time. But yeah, Dovakin's been doing pretty good. And yeah, but so we'll see. It's kind of is one of the newer ones, even though that Sharkbot one appeared twice. The author has submitted more times than that. So there's other bots.
That was just bot appearances.
There's whale something.
Whale meme.
And whale
Shark
meme.
nice.
Shark nice. I think there was like
some other aquatic something.
Like dolphin curious and tuna friendly.
Anyway, we are ready with our first game here. And we're going to see Sharkbot tonight. That will be the bot submitted here by Shark Nice. But let's check it out. Let's go ahead and hop into our first best of 3 to see who's going to get that nice spot in the nice chance to move on in our I don't even know what that's called. What do they when they win this? That's just the next stage of the bracket.
This is just you go on to the
winner's match. The winner's match. Yeah. There we go. All right, let's go.
Shark Nices.
Sharkbot.
Yatta Hunts.
Dovakin.
So I had said right at the outset that sometimes Sharkbot does some cheesy stuff, and we're seeing 2 probes going out right away. And
I think that's pretty cheesy.
Yeah. And they're not, one of them towards the base for the normal scout, the other one off to the side. That's clearly going to put a proxy down. There comes the first pylon. So we'll see how soon Dovakin scouts, and it looks like there is a drone going out, but this may be for a hatchery first. So
it's
whatever
very
this
economic
is, This is interesting though,
Oh,
because
look
it's
at
a
that.
hatchery first. The stealing the gas probably doesn't matter as much because he wasn't going to take those anyway. What does matter is that drones are getting pulled off to deal with it when they kind of shouldn't because they don't want those.
Yeah, you're not going to need the gas really
Yeah.
anyway unless you're going for a quick roach
so you
timing.
could, so you can instead get the minerals and then deal with this once you got lings out. Because he's doing this, it's going to delay, unfortunately, the spawning pool from coming down. And given that this looks like a 3 gateway proxy, he's potentially in trouble.
Was he going to do it again? Do it again, steal him again. You know, we have not really seen a lot of gas stealing in ProBots.
Really.
I'm trying to think of the last time we've seen it. And that's just not a problem that the bots always have to worry about worker rushes, obviously proxies and things like that, but never really gas steals. That's kind of a new.
That is relatively.
I know it's not new, but
it's something that people haven't really used. I remember in the early.
You don't expect it. At this stage.
In early seasons, I think we did see more of it, and then people learned to put a worker next to the gas, preventing it from building. Then people kind of stopped doing it, but then people maybe stopped defending it.
Well, it's back in the meta, bot authors. Watch out. We have got a bot that steals your gas.
Yeah,
hide your gas. Hide your wife.
Yeah, so Zealots coming in. This is very quickly going to become 5+ Zealots. And we've got the first Lings coming out and first Queen out. Hopefully Dovakin decides to sack the base. But I don't. Yeah.
Well, he's going to use it, at least have it for production. So he's got a lot of Zerglings coming out. God, look at that probe going to town here.
Yeah, it's definitely got. So this is unfortunate.
Sharkbot is just out for blood tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunate timing here.
That's a brutal proxy too. If you, what is that? 3 gateways or 2?
It was 3 gateways. Yeah.
That is a fully committed, 100%. You have to see that coming.
It's absolute all in. He hasn't taken gas.
Absolute all in.
Yeah, he hasn't taken gas of his own either.
He just did. He's taking another one right now.
What? No, but I mean his own.
I know. I'm being facetious.
Yes. Yeah, which is interesting that he's doing that. I guess the thinking is the only way that you could stop this in time is if you get to roaches somehow. So I'm going to steal your gas. Like that's kind of what he's thinking. But yeah, this is just a pretty strong timing. We said Sharkbot kind of does this sort of thing, and unfortunately, because Dovakin went hatch first, it was just a bit of a build order loss to begin with, and then his reaction of trying to take out the gases delayed him even further. So even then, the Lings weren't even done. I don't think they would have held anyway. You would have needed a pretty sizable number.
Yeah, probably about twice that, and maybe it would have been enough to shut it down, because they were all still trickling out right as the Zealots were starting to hit the hatchery and stuff. But no, it was definitely a strong proxy build out of Sharkbot, and again, if you're just not ready for it, or if your bot's not ready for it, then that's going to be really hard to hold. That seems specifically catered to pick off a Zerg as well.
Yeah,
I don't know if that would work as well against a Terran necessarily.
A little harder, because again, anything you're kind of exploiting, and this is why I went for the gas, is you're exploiting the fact that there's no ranged units really, other than the Queen. Whereas at least a Terran can kite back, and because they're bots, it can kite back quite well, usually. So plus with the Terran, you have the option of just wall it. Like a lot of Terrans are going to wall off right away by default, and then you won't be able to get through it anyway. Somebody can bunker off, anything like that. Whereas the Zerg doesn't have those early options to do that, especially when you're going hatch first. So it's possible that Sharkbot knew that that's something Dovakin does, or this is just kind of a shot in the dark, and he ended up with the best possible scenario here.
Yeah. Well, and there is a world, there is a scenario where these two face each other again in the bracket. So this seems like a really easy thing just to update. I think mass spine crawlers could hold that as well. I think there's a few options that you could
I think you have to, well, let's jump into this and we'll chat more. But
game 2, let's go.
See if we get the same.
Shark Nices.
Sharkbot.
Yata Hunts.
Dovakin.
So we're
You know
getting the same
go
thing.
ahead.
Yeah, just that we're getting the same thing to acknowledge
Look at that
that right away.
speed mining go,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, both these bots do have the speed mining enabled in case nobody or in case somebody didn't notice that. So both bots getting that full income advantage. What was I just gonna say? Oh, do you think we'd get muted like the portion of the stream if we just played the Dovakin, you know, the Dovakin song for his intro?
I don't know. Usually you don't get muted for video game music.
Yeah, so you might be okay for that one.
Usually
That's
it's
true.
fine. Usually it's
All
okay.
right. Double gas. This time,
Yeah.
6 workers are going to be pulled off to deal with that. Is that less than last time?
I think so.
feel like he
Although
pulled-
he,
yeah, somebody said he pulled, like,
he added more
12.
last time.
Oh, okay.
And yeah.
Oh, here we
this
go.
is-
Yeah, more getting
when they
added right now.
finished,
When
they
they
added
finished.
more.
Gotcha.
And then 2 of them got stuck, not doing anything after they cleared it up.
Oh yeah, one
So
was just
we'll
stuck
see.
there. Go back to the mineral line, to the first gas.
This time though, there is
There's
a
a
big,
drone just chilling.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at that.
There's a big difference though in that
Got
this is
him.
not hatch first this time. I think
Oh.
it was going to be. I
Oh.
thought a drone went down as if it was going to take it,
Oh, here
and
it is.
then maybe saw, because he was right down there before, but then maybe saw something and changed its mind because we did get the spawning.
Oh yeah,
pool
it came back
first.
up again.
Yeah, and here there are
Interesting.
still a couple drones there idle because of the gas thing, but we'll
Well-
see how that works out. Did we lose the
We
feed?
lost the game, Endersword. I don't know where it went, but I
Oh.
did see Dovakin fighting back over in the mineral
Yeah.
line. He's got a drone of his own, beating up some of those probes, getting a little bit of vengeance. Oh, we're fading back in. Here we go.
Yeah, we are back.
We're
And
back.
Sharkbot, for anyone that doesn't know, also started its life as a chat bot. So it will chat and actually respond to things that the other
Oh
bot
yeah,
says.
I was good about that. I think
Yeah.
you can download
Yes,
Sharkbot
just the
somewhere
chat
to
bot.
use as a chatbot, and you can just go have a conversation with Sharkbot. I'm sure Shark
So you
Nice
got
would
the
love to
one-
post that in the chat if he has.
The probe that was harassing drones last game is now just killing the spawning pool. And so
Oh,
we got
that's
the better
actually pretty
first-
helpful.
It's pretty, yeah, it's fairly different.
There's
but
just no
do
lings
we
out.
already-
There's not
yeah,
enough lings out yet, though.
Yeah, exactly. So he
We've already got
killed
four
the
zealot. Yeah.
killed the first 2. He's
Huh.
at least kind of distracting. Oh, that's good if they fight like that, though.
There we go.
But I think
Dovakin
we
found the
may-
sweet spot.
Yeah, it's gonna be down to
Hold
can this
queen,
stay
hold.
alive? If the other queen comes out and can
Oh.
like help or something, and they just keep, it won't make it in time.
Ah, no, it's not gonna be
But
that.
yeah, best kind of situation, but unfortunately,
This was a little closer, though.
definitely much closer.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I think just a couple little tweaks, and this could actually be pretty handily held. You know, a
Right.
spine crawler or 2. Yeah, just get the queens in that sweet spot like that, and you're in a good spot to hold it. But yep, just too many zealots, too quick. Sharkbot
we've
is
got-
out for blood tonight.
The zealot micro here should be mentioned as well
on?
because there's good distribution of damage amongst
Yes.
the zealots. If
Good
they
call.
had just kind of fought in order, a lot more would have been dead. But
Yeah, you can kind of see him
they were
attacking
kind
and
of
pulling back just a little bit, so
Yeah,
other
so the
zealots can
melee
get
might
in
be-
there and fight.
So
Good
that's,
call.
that's important. There is another base up in the right-hand side there. We'll see if some bots, like particularly if it's kind of an all-in cheese, delay or don't really know what to do next. But it looks like he does have a next step. I was worried in the first game he never took a gas. This one where it's gone a little bit longer, he has taken one, and there is stalkers on the way. And this spawning pool, unfortunately, is still going to be built
Yeah,
in this location instead of in where the hidden base
in
is.
the new main,
Yeah,
the new main base. No, that is a good
see, this
response
is-
though, as well though,
yeah.
to take that hatchery elsewhere.
okay. He is looking around,
How's
maybe,
that? Oh yeah, because there we go.
Yeah,
You see
there
the
you go.
zealots spread out.
because we've seen this in the past where somebody has like a good all in, but then they don't
They don't search
add
the map.
to it. They don't, yeah.
Yeah.
So that in those situations, we've had them actually
You just keep A moving into
Yeah.
the enemy base
and never
looking
see
for
it,
something
and then
to
the
attack
other
when
player
nothing's there.
eventually
Yeah.
catches up and kills them. But he
Yeah.
did have kind of a plan B to it a little bit.
Yeah, that is, and that again, that is a good plan B to just expand elsewhere. You know, oh crap, my main base is getting sacked here. I might just need to go take a base and try again. You know, somewhere else, and it works. It works sometimes. So, quick game one there, or a quick series one. Dovakin will get knocked down in the lower bracket, and Sharkbot will be moving on into the winners match to see if he can move on. But again, should Dovakin come through that lower bracket and make his way into that winners match again, we might have a rematch. We'll see what happens in the weeks to come.
And it should be
we will have
easy,
updates.
yeah, exactly. There will be updates, so Dovakin will have a chance to just maybe put in a defense for that.
Yeah,
specific.
first round's kind of a wash sometimes. That's where you a lot of bot authors have had bugs in the first round or something where it's, oh crap, I got to fix that for the next, and you know, you get a chance to come back and do it again. So we're gonna have updates next week, next week I think will be the first updates for the, because we're gonna go back into Group A, into the
and
upper.
do the winners.
Or no, wait,
yeah.
Is that
Are we
right?
doing all the winners, or are we doing?
No, we're doing all the losers rounds first, I think.
Oh yeah,
We'd have to look at the
losers
bracket.
round
I
first.
forget.
Okay.
I'm terrible at the format. I get so confused with it. Do we have a bracket? Let's pull up the bracket, take a little look at it here while we're in between series. We do have another best of 3 coming up momentarily, so bear with us, everybody, while we get that loaded and ready to go. Who do we have coming up next while we pull up the bracket? We have got Kanyeana versus Smoothbrain, one of our new bots. What is Smoothbrain? Smoothbrain is a Terran written in Python, in case anyone was curious.
Yeah, it said Smoothbrain, so I assumed Terran.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And
something to note too. Dovakin written in Go. I forgot I was going to mention the coding languages last series. Our only bot written in Go. One of those, you know. So again, is that one of those scenarios where he has to build the framework? I guess you're in chat right now.
I think so. Yeah.
So did you? Yeah, Yada Hunt. Did you have to pretty much build the framework like Sharpie had to do with some of the Sharpie stuff and all that? I'm assuming that was the case. But if so, if you like to code in Go, we've got a bot in Go that you can maybe get some examples from.
Yeah.
Depends how sharing and generous the bot author is, of course.
Yeah, very true. Usually they are, and I find, particularly if they're working in a language that only they are working in, if somebody else wants to help or like make their own,
the more the
then
merrier,
probably
right?
you're going to develop something that they can use and vice versa. Because a lot of this is people building on each other's work in libraries and things like that. So, and it feels like each season we get a new language that shows up.
Yeah,
some of which I've never heard of.
Well, I was just going to talk, if we have the cards to talk about our next match coming up, Kanyeana actually written in Rust. Again, another example of from scratch, had to build a lot of the stuff to make his bot work, you know, with the game and all that. So good job, all you smarter than me bot authors. Like, I could never imagine learning how to do that. I'm still trying to learn how to do C# and couple other things, and I'm still, you know, for a few years now, and I'm still,
especially given the size of these things now. Like, I remember when we first started, like a bot was a single file. Like, it was in one, like you could just open the single file and it was this. Now a bot is folders and sub things, and like, you know, refer, like there's individual files for the way each unit behaves and things like that. So
it's getting a little complex, but fear not. Again, if you are a new bot author, we actually have templates available for you to get started. We have tutorial videos. We're gonna soon have a little micro ladder thing where you can just do some basic coding to tell units to move around and attack. You don't have to worry about the whole economy structure and blah blah blah. We'll go more into that later. Let's talk about our match coming up: Kanyeana versus Smoothbrain.
Yep, we got an 1800 elo, 35% win rate, and we should give some context to that too. The AI arena is not one big ladder; they have divisions in it. So when you see someone with a like less than 50% win rate, it's because they're in the high bracket. So they're still better than the average bot, but they're in the elite league sort of thing. So that's the case here. And here's Smoothbrain. I haven't seen the portrait yet.
That's great.
And yeah, this is the first appearance of Smoothbrain. And so I really have no idea what to expect from this bot, but we'll learn as we go. Both of them relatively new. Kanyeana been in for, I think this is then the fourth appearance.
Third or fourth?
It said third, but I think it's fourth. We've had Ratash, the author, on a number of times on PostBots and things like that.
Oh, speaking of, I was just told to do a better job with the plugs, and I neglected them because I suck. Do check out our membership if you like extra ProBots content. We do an after show tomorrow night after every single week of games called PostBots. And this season, we're actually doing a little bit more of an in-depth breakdown about how bots work. So we're having bot authors join us to talk about how they have built their bot, kind of their struggle or challenge or, whatever they had to go through to get it to the point it's at now. So maybe you can come by and pick up a few tips or tricks. Do check out, type in ProBotsAI.com into your little search bar up there, and that'll take you to our new website, and you can support from there. But I think that was mostly it. Oh, we do have a GitHub as well. Yes. So for all you new bot authors, check out our github.com/ProBotsAI. Check out our videos page. We've got templates available for you somewhere. All sorts of resources. I think down below me we got links for all that. So check it out. Make a bot. Get into ProBots. First, you got to go to SE2, or what is it? AIarena.net. I'm sorry. AIarena.net. Go there. Check out the bots. And get involved. All right. Are we ready? Have I been talking too long?
We're ready. Yeah.
I think we're ready. All right. Game number 2 here, or series number 2, Kanyeana versus Smoothbrain. Let's go.
Patoshes.
Kanyeana.
Mirmeko Mans.
Smoothbrain. All right, here we are on. I was gonna say Cravat. I was like, Gresvana. We've never been here under sword.
Yeah, I don't think this one didn't come up last week.
No.
Yeah,
Gresvana. Oh no, Gresvan. Because it's AI.
I think it's you're right. Yeah, Gresvan. I don't know why we
AI arena map. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gresvan.
No space.
Gresvan.
I don't know. It's usually something. It
was a planet that was destroyed nearly 1,000 years ago.
I see.
From StarCraft. It's a StarCraft thing. Oh, have I never heard of it? Huh. Look at that. There's a whole thing. You can go Google Gresvan, everybody, if you're curious.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was a whole planet, and it's now gone. So, there you go.
Fair enough. There's all kinds of... Drekken knows this stuff. Every time he does, like, a trivia thing, he tries to bring out things that are in, like, StarCraft books. Yeah. Nobody's ever read those. Put that away.
I've read a few of them. Some of them are pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard they're okay. There's so much lore. Like the games of StarCraft take place in 20, 30 years, but then the universe has like thousands of years of lore.
Well, no, it was wait, was it when was the Great War? Wasn't it 2099?
Oh, maybe.
I'll have to.
We've got the same characters, so clearly Raynor and them haven't died, so it's kind of within the same period of time. But I guess that's like Star Wars too. It's what you see is within like 30 years, but I guess like 60 years maybe. But then there's books that go to like 5,000 years before that.
Yeah. Well, here we are on Gresvan. I guess we've time traveled back to when the planet was still alive. We've got a Reaper already in Kanyeana's mineral line, but nice timing with the Queen is going to be able to push that back. Very crisp on that timing. I'm sure Kanyeana has had to deal with the pesky Reaper many a times before. So,
yes.
Nicely done there.
Reaper control really one of the initial like mainstays of the AI the AI game because they have such control potential and like micro potential, and like if you just use them perfectly, then they could just spiral completely out of control. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's always been one of the major threats.
Roaches will deal with this just fine. Kanyeana getting the burrow as well. A really
Changing
addition to watch.
decision to panic.
I guess roaches is the panic mode.
Yeah.
2499, I looked it up, is when the Brood War was, the Great War.
Mhm.
So a few hundred years from now. We got a few hundred.
Yeah, we got time. All right.
Yeah, we got time.
Makes sense.
We got time. All right. What do we got going on here? I am excited to see this burrow play in action. We've seen it work really well a few times, but we've also seen it just get absolutely smushed by just a little bit of detection. So it really
that's really
comes
the
on
key.
Smoothbrain to be ready.
That's really the key is detection and how people code in priority, because
Like
people,
scans versus mules,
whether to
right?
scan things and also whether to ignore things that have burrowed, because a lot of the bots will seem to react to something like a burrowed roach as this thing was attacking me. Oh, it's safe now.
Mhm.
And they leave and they don't finish it off because the priority is shifted.
Yeah. Well, and if it just burrows and disappears, the
Yeah.
bot actually can't see it. So
Yeah,
I
it
would,
knows
unless they have
is
something
there, but it
specific
doesn't know. Yeah,
to remember that.
but even with the detection, like sometimes they will, they'll attack it if it's the only thing there, but they will shift to all the things that are still alive or still standing, and then never finish it off. So that can kind of spiral out of control.
Man, these Reapers are being a little pesky here, but haven't really gotten anything done. So a nice defense from Kanyeana. Now trying to get a third base up and running with roaches on the way. So things are looking really good for both bots, because Smoothbrain actually has Cloaked Banshees coming out. And I don't think there are any Spore Crawlers just yet.
There aren't. There's a layer that's almost...
Layer is almost done, so we will have Overseers. Yeah. So if these Banshees maybe hit just a little sooner, they could probably get something done. But I do think Kanyeana is going to have detection and a defense out. We'll see.
Quite possibly. There's a Raven coming there too on Smoothbrain's side, and we'll see. Where are our Banshees actually on the map?
He was building one, I thought.
Yeah,
Where did it?
That's it. I don't know. There it is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, he's coming in right now.
Okay. So there's a spore coming up here. There's an Overseer right with it.
And a lot of queens. Oh boy. Yeah. Get out of there.
Oh, a nice burrow there on the queen.
Oh, I like that.
Took it off. Yeah.
Can a queen dodge a Banshee shot with burrow? I missed it.
Oh, yeah.
Or did it still get hit?
Don't know if it can. That's an interesting question.
Because if it burrows and there's no detection, right?
Yeah. I think if the shot's there, then it does get hit, but I don't know.
All right, somebody do some testing with these bots and their incredibly quick reflexes. Let me know if a queen can dodge a Banshee shot by burrowing. I don't think it can. It feels like the Banshee shot's just a little too fast. But again, it would stop any subsequent shots, which is nice, unless, again, there's a scan or detection or something. So
he's moving across here. It looks like he's taking this route towards the top. Is he going to commit to it?
Ooh, more changeling use. A lot of our Zergs are starting to use changelings. I like it a lot.
I think they're another one that kind of messes with your priority and thinking a little bit, in that it can trigger a response where you're like, because the AI knows that that's an enemy unit.
Yeah.
So it's not fooled for even a second that it's its own thing. So it knows what it is, but then that can create some weird retreating behavior where people like loop back to get the changelings. That one Marauder staying alive, meeting up with his friends here. Medevac support is not with these, nor is, like, I guess, the other air support. So here,
Ooh, nice
he
burrows,
needs
though.
this Raven. This is what for. And there are...
Oh, he needs it so bad.
Is there a Raven anywhere? He made one.
Oh, movement just finished up, so the roaches get out of there, and actually a lot of them survive.
See, and see here,
done.
you can see kind of what I was talking about, of he's burrowing and pulling them back, and the moment they're burrowed, the bio forgets about them. So it's...
Well, they have to start attacking the ones that are attacking them still.
That's the problem, though, because a person wouldn't do that. So a person would say, well, I want to finish it off. Because otherwise it never dies. Yeah.
right now. Calm down, Kanyeana. You're going to be okay. I promise.
He's panicked, but he's winning. This is definitely a winning position.
Yeah. Oh, super winning position here.
Yeah.
I was going to say, too, with the changelings, before we move on from that, was it our new bot last week? Another new bot last week, I think, wasn't able to identify and target them down.
Yeah.
So definitely for new bot authors, make sure you take note. Kill changelings. I'm curious to see how many bots actually deal with changelings, because we don't see them that often. It really is kind of a newer thing. So
yeah, they're kind of, I mean, they're good for what they're meant to be, which is kind of like scouting and everything like that. But they do constantly mess with AI, like even in the actual game, like the AIs can get confused by them. But it looks like with this huge clean support and with the fact that just none of these roaches are dying, they're just kind of infinitely coming back to life by healing, he's kind of pushing across here. But it's almost like he doesn't, like, you could tell Kanyeana doesn't want to push across. This is just a defensive push, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
He's kind of like coming out to meet the army, but there's no intention, at least currently, of actually going and attacking.
Well, it definitely feels like there's a leash range
Yeah.
on the creek for at least the queens or something.
Yeah. May get bolder now, as there is a lot more of a force, and these corruptors come out in mass. And
the roaches hightail it out of there, though, because of the tank shots. I think that's a good call. There's a lot of tanks up here. Is there a raven? Where's the raven at?
One died. I don't know if that was the only one, but the corruptors picked that off. The real question was, where was the raven that entire time? Because it was just back. Look in the main base here as well. There's just corruptors like everywhere, poking around and just creating absolute chaos.
Yeah, there's really not a lot of air control here for Smoothbrain. He's got Marines trying to clean it up, but they're needed at the front lines because we've got roaches and ravagers barreling into the economy here. I will say Smoothbrain has a nice had a nice economy starting to spread out, but Kanyeana is really getting in there and doing some damage. And meanwhile, Kanyeana's got about half, if not more, of the map covered in creep. So it is going to be a big uphill battle for Smoothbrain to stabilize.
It is. He's really got to like group up and kind of push through this. Like one of the strengths here is that Kanyeana's kind of all over the place. You really got to kind of like consolidate and see if he can push this back.
Actually, yeah.
But it's very hard. Again, there's no detection with things, and with the corruptors just kind of taking over, there's no healing for the bio because all the medevacs are pushed back. There's no
huge
central location here that you can kind of make a stand.
That was what was allowing Smoothbrain to stabilize, was the medevacs.
Yeah. And you can even see the corruptors themselves are also following the doctrine of, you know, if you get too hurt, pull back. And just heal.
Oh, he got one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is really good. Fight a little bit, but then go back, heal up, come back for another fight later.
Yeah, just make
unit retention is huge in StarCraft.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Very huge. Oh man, Smoothbrain is putting up a good fight, I must say. But again, the medevacs were really the linchpin to holding this. When those medevacs started coming out was when things started to kind of get under control just a little bit. But yeah, the corruptors have almost killed them all. There's two that are super wounded right here.
Yeah, I think when they came in, it was in like this shock wave of like 9 of them that was completely unanticipated. And even now, we've got a Greater Spire done. He's got Infestor Tech. There just mentioned Broodlords in his rambling
he's
the
having
state of the game that he's kind of keeps updating us with, but yeah.
A little trouble deciding what he wants to do there. That's funny. Oh, a couple tanks trying to hold the line, but the Biles and the Roaches will take that down, and the front line is all but broken here. And I think Kanyeana has won this game.
Yeah, we've got 114 army supply to 19, and there's just no more economy left for Smoothbrain.
Hey, scrappy fight though. Smoothbrain really has a lot of potential to keep going. Despite all these attacks and all this damage, Smoothbrain kept going. Smoothbrain kept mining, building army, and trying to hold the ground, but yeah, it was just too much to deal with. But a good start here for one of our new bots in ProBots.
Yeah, very much so.
You know who I feel bad for is it feels like every season Micro Machine always goes up against a new bot. We're gonna see that in the next group. Always the new bot gets Micro Machine and just gets absolutely walloped. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's always hard to break in against some of the veterans, but you know, do your best. Nobody.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Got to start somewhere.
That's the key.
All right.
In the early seasons, we could have like a Royal Rotor that was like first time entry and win. I don't think that's happening.
We had that a couple seasons ago, almost.
Yeah,
I feel like
we've had a few. We've had a couple show up and make it like deep.
I know Ketrock's done that a little. Like he always has gotten from his start, has gotten into the finals pretty much. And there was definitely a couple other bots. Easy run at their start. Eris probably. Yeah. All right, we're gonna get game 2 loaded up here, and we'll see what happens.
So I think this one could be fairly map dependent. Like, so a lot of the way that map worked naturally led to a lot of different attack routes being like beneficial for Kanyeana. If Smoothbrain had stuff grouped up well at the beginning, and particularly with detection with them, then some of that initial pushing, had it been like one of those there's a path right down the middle sort of things, may have worked out better. Also, the way the timing of the Banshee worked out, like the Banshee got there right in time for Kanyeana to have defenses for it. We saw like the Overseer swoop in just as it was arriving and so on. So timing of that can make a difference, but we'll see here in game number 2.
Let's swoop into game 2. Let's go.
Patoshes.
Kanyeana.
Meko Mans.
Smoothbrain. All right, here we are on Golden Aura for game number 2. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us and for coming and hanging out watching these games. This is week 2, group C and D of our tournament, if you've just tuned in. And we're going to see here if Kanyeana going to move on into the upper portion of his group here, or into the winner's match of his group, or if Smoothbrain might be able to turn things around with some solid macro. And it seems like that's Smoothbrain's play at the moment. Just some solid macro, build up a nice force of tanks, bio, hold your ground, and try to push out, which is a very viable way to go about it.
Yeah, definitely, and it'll come down to like concentration of force and how it works. Kanyeana, as you can see, obviously, tons of different groups operating independently, each unit type operating independently, and just creates chaos everywhere. And how to deal with that can be quite difficult.
I'm telling you, when one of these bot authors figures out how to make a perfect little death ball, it's going to be impossible. Even Eris, I think. Well, unless Eris is the first one to do it, which kind of Eris does. But I think that's the way to beat some of these top bots. Is, you can get, you can cheese them, you can do this or that. Most of the top bots have scouting in place to find your cheese, or, some kind of code to deal with your worker rush or your cannon rush. It's just what these top bot authors have had to deal with for years. And, depending on how long you've been making your bot, the longer you've been making your bot, the more crap you've had to put up with, most likely. So,
yeah, very true.
We'll see how this shapes up here. But I still think just a solid macro, like a solid 2-base timing, where you get up to 200 supply really fast, maybe like, rush to 200 supply of just this unbeatable composition for a certain stage of the game, and then you just force yourself into a position, outside the second or third base or something, and just hold your ground, kill anything they throw at you, inch forward. I think there's gonna be some crazy builds in the future as this continues to develop, where we see stuff like that.
Yeah, I think so. It's knowing when to when to do that, like when to concentrate, when to split, when to do whatever. Because I think initially, in some of our first seasons, most people's plan was either a super early timing attack or macroing to 100 to 200 and then moving out. And there
we still see that part
Yeah.
now. Like Eris does that, I think.
Yeah.
Just macros to max and then moves out and crushes you. So
Yeah,
works.
exactly. That's basically it, and that's the game plan, which makes sense. But Eris does it. The real key is that you have to have a pathway to it, and the big thing is Eris has a lot of ways to live to that point to then be able to come in with this ultra tech army and do that. And that's the part that people obviously struggle with, is how do I get to that point without
without dying or losing.
Benbot's another
That's
one.
always the hard part of StarCraft, isn't it?
Like Benbot's not particularly, it's trying to get to a late game position. And so Benbot has a lot of things focused on survival.
Yeah, like
and
the little bunker rush
exactly.
thing.
Even things that look offensive are really about delaying the game.
It's about
you get to
setting the game into a state that you want, that you can control. You know, you're putting your pieces on the field where you want, but then stopping the opponent from doing what they want. So it's, in theory, going to always give you the advantage if you're successful in that. So it makes total sense. Kanyeana just cannot make up its mind right now.
No. Yeah, we got Smoothbrain moving out. Smoothbrain moving out again, but are we?
See, I don't know about this move out because there's not
it's a
little
huge
too late
with it.
to do that much damage with just this. You don't have Medivacs to support it. If he had moved out maybe a minute sooner with just a little bit less, you could have gotten some. But there's creep already way away from the base. There's roaches popping out. Okay, good call. Smoothbrain actually pulls back. Very smart. I was a little nervous he was going to commit there and just lose all his units. There's just no support. You need support like Medivacs or something, or a tank. One tank, something.
Yeah, tank down that choke
look at
through
that.
the middle of
Look
the
at that
two
guy
ways.
go.
This would be good. But,
Zerglin threading the needle there, runs past all the army, but does meet its demise as it gets to Smoothbrain's base here. But this is actually looking a lot more even than last time. I feel didn't Smoothbrain commit a little bit last time, or he was forced to attack? I remember some units getting hurt in that first attack.
Yeah, I think it was a little later though, because I think it was largely after the Banshee had gotten there that he really started attacking on the right side of the map. So maybe see that. Although I'd like to see stuff like the Banshee either backstab while an attack is happening, or just come with the army.
Do we have a Banshee this time? I think there's one just to the left of the army, right?
Yeah,
maybe.
There you go. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So if
here we go.
This comes with the army, then that's a lot of firepower.
So Smoothbrain actually opts to ignore the changeling, so just might not have any code at all.
Yeah.
To do anything to acknowledge the changeling. We saw last week one of the bots was reacting very heavily to the changelings, but this time Smoothbrain's just going to waltz right in and start engaging. But again, with no support, no Medivacs, the roaches are going to be able to burrow and heal up. Meanwhile, Smoothbrain's just going to take heavy damage and probably a lot of losses here.
Yeah.
So not the best.
And just so much of the damage is being spread out too, not just amongst the roaches, but amongst the queens, and then the queens are healing up quite efficiently.
Oh, they're just damage sponges at this point, and they're doing a great job of it. Oh, he gets one. One queen does go down. That's good. It's something.
Yeah, it's just where's
they're out of
raven?
Energy.
Like where's the because there is a raven.
There's a raven. Where the heck
is it? It's just not coming.
Raven, get over here. I think it's like right behind the army. Yeah,
there's a raven.
Oh,
so is
raven.
that ever gonna come? It's not gonna come.
It's for whatever reason wants to stay with the general mass of the army. It feels like because it looks like it's kind of going towards the center of where all the units are. Either that or it's getting told to go back to the reinforcing wave and moving out with it or something.
Yeah, that may be the case. It's because he could have cleared so much of this stuff. Like there are times, especially since they got split in two fronts, there are times when burrowed roaches would have been exposed and they would have been attacked.
Oh yeah, I think if a raven was here, I think Smoothbrain actually takes that fight potentially.
Yeah,
he's still fighting with no Medivacs, no raven. and he has been kiting like an absolute god.
Yeah.
And he has dealt so much damage, but unfortunately, damage doesn't matter if you don't kill anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just it's right on that razor's edge of being successful. I feel like.
Yeah,
Which is
just
not
a
quite
matter
enough.
of,
And now we're at the point where it's going to snowball for Kanyeana. Yeah.
yeah, I think you're going to get the similar sort of thing. So the first Corruptor is already underway, and that's kind of when it started to really fall apart, was when the Corruptors just kind of went for the back line, and they just went for
Medevacs.
Like, they went for
Raven.
Medevacs, obviously the Raven and stuff, and then they just went after buildings individually.
Oh, yeah.
And really just kind of took a lot of things off the front line, and that's when the army was able to walk up there.
Oh, some nice micro, some really good macro out of Smoothbrain as well. You know, he's got 1-1 about to finish up, expanding continuously. This is definitely looking better than last game for him.
Mhm.
But I do think Kanyeana is still going to be able to just kind of overwhelm him at a certain point. Yeah,
Yeah, I
once
think
those
so, too.
medevacs start getting hit and things like that. But where are the medevacs? I haven't seen a medevac heal anything yet.
I think they're chilling with the Raven.
Are they hanging out
Like
with the
they're-
Raven?
Somehow they
apart.
decided, they're
Yeah,
here
here
with
we
the
go.
tanks where they're, So
Hit with
somehow,
the wounded units. Oh, they're
whenever
following.
they're
They
rallying-
lied. They're following that changeling. I was
is
wrong.
that
I
what they're
thought
doing?
I thought
Yeah.
Smoothbrain was ignoring it. It seems the bio ignores it, but then the tanks and the Raven and stuff look like it was following. I don't know. Maybe
that's
not
a
wrong.
massacre right there. I think this
This
is
is
a lot
huge
quicker.
massacre.
This is a little quicker than it was in the last game, just because of this tank siege up.
Yeah. Well, they were grouped up. They didn't have any on the high ground supporting. Yeah. No, all those tanks get crushed, and this is absolutely going to be Kanyeana taking a 2-0 here. But again, looked a little bit better. Smoothbrain put up a good fight, and Kanyeana looking really strong, coming in and just playing a solid defensive, not even defensive game, just just aggressive enough game.
Yeah.
Pushing back Smoothbrain's attacks, macroing up really, really well, and we've got infestors on the way. Upgrades are finishing up 2-2. A lot of good production. Oh,
Just-
even some infestor.
just a
Neuroparasite,
really
is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just a really efficient
Oh.
play too. It's just keeping units alive and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
that's
super
the key.
efficient.
If we could look at the units, or not units lost, but the resources lost tab, I think you might see a story there, because it's probably mostly only lings that have died.
There's a damage done tab, though. I almost
Yeah.
would say Smoothbrain takes it. He
Quite
did
possible.
a lot of
Yeah.
damage, but just didn't kill anything.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
So
yeah,
less
double
less
the
than half, and look, and that's kind of what they're thinking. Only 300 gas has been lost
Look at that, no roaches.
because it's all
Yeah.
lings. There's two corruptors now, one ravager, one
Ravagers,
queen.
yeah.
And that's it. Everything that dies is lings. Not a single roach died in the entire game.
Perfect roach retention. I don't think we've ever seen that here. Absolutely perfect. Well, nicely done, Kanyeana, and we'll move on into the winner's match, and we'll now face Sharkbot. So that should be a fun little match. And then we'll have Smoothbrain versus, oh my gosh, my brain just stopped. Dovakin will be in the lower bracket for that. So both those bots, again, will have a chance to update, come back and try again and see if they can make their way into the round of 8. But Sharkbot and Kanyeana are just one step away from that round of 8 each.
Yep.
And we'll wait and see a couple weeks, I think 2 weeks from now, we'll see who moves on there or something like that. But yeah, let's go ahead and actually take a quick look at our format in case anybody just tuned in or is just hanging out. If you don't know what the heck's going on, we are in day 2 of our ProBots Season 1 here in 2023, and we have a GSL-style bracket going on, double elimination, group of 4, best of 3s, and, you just kind of saw the little bracket there. Basically, all these bots go through their groups. The 2 that make it out of each group will get into the round of 8. Once we have a round of 8, we're going to be doing a fantasy bracket, so make sure you join the Discord or come hang out the week before. We'll have it open right up until we start the show, pretty much. Maybe even just a little bit into it. But we'll get your brackets filled out. We'll have a lot of fun guessing who we think is going to win it all. And do keep in mind, we've got updates next week for our bots. I think bot authors hopefully have gotten emails or something about that. And if not, this is our reminder to our producer to do so. Make sure these bots get updated and start looking even better for next week. I'm excited to see how they evolve because each season even from start to end of season, we see some pretty good growth out of some of these bots.
Yeah, definitely.
We're really able to see them adapt and evolve, and it's really cool.
Now let's take a quick look back. We've got a replay from this last series.
Replay. Oh yeah, we have instant replays now too. Because again, remember how I said I suck at mentioning plugs? That was one of them.
Here we go. So yeah, this is kind of the turning point, I think, in game number 1.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can see here the bio is right on the edge. If there was medevac support and a Raven here, I think this bio pushes that back, and I think it takes the fight. I really do, especially on this one.
Yeah, and here's game number 2, the kind of the same sort of point where it starts to spiral against Smoothbrain here. That the roaches on the offense, and then you can just see them slowly retreating, and they retreat early, like they're only in the yellow when they decide to burrow. And then here's the really decisive fight against the tanks. Tanks basically doing more damage to each other, and then the Ravager shots just raining down on them and just kind of knocking the army out in one swift blow, unlike the first match where they're fighting up ramps and so on.
Now, that was a great couple of series, though. A little quick, but we've had only one ace match so far this season. So it's definitely been, this is going to be one of the hardest seasons, I think, to date for some of these bots, just because, again, these bots evolve so much, it feels like, every season. The competition's getting harder and harder, but do not let that dissuade you. If you are a new bot author, we do have a lot of newer bot author friendly tournaments and brackets and that kind of thing. There's the AIarena.net. They have 2 ladders that you can get your bot put onto, so you can fight against bots a little bit closer to your skill level, very much like the BattleNet ladder. You fight against someone closer to your ELO. That's where that whole ELO system comes into play. But go check it out over there. Check out all the templates, all our videos. We've got a lot of cool starter videos to get you rolling and get you into the ProBots scene, or into just the bot author scene in general. So yeah, I think that's it for our first part of our show here. We've got 2 more games coming up, so don't go anywhere. 2 more best of 3s, but we're going to go to a quick little 5-minute break here where we get that all set up. So thank you everybody for coming and joining us and watching these games. Go tell everybody to search ProBots in the YouTube search bar, and they'll hopefully get directed right here. And make sure you hit that little thumbs up button, get us a little bit more visibility on YouTube if you have not already. So thank you to everybody who has done that. But all right, 5-minute break. We'll be back with more games here on ProBots. Thanks for tuning in. And we are back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to day 2 of ProBots, our groups C and D of our tournament here. Again, this is a 7-week tournament. We've got double elimination, or not double, I'm sorry. It used to be double elimination. Group stage format to start, then a round of 8, and then our grand finals after 7 weeks of awesome gameplay. And again, we're currently in week 2. So we've got a lot more to come. Make sure you hit the little bell icon if you want notifications, but we go live the same time every week on Thursday here at 7:30 Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So thank you to all our European fans who stay up late and watch with us. But even if you watch the VOD, we appreciate that too. And hopefully you're having a good time and enjoying these bots, because these authors put a lot of work into these bots, and we get a lot of entertainment out of it. So thank you. Big shout out to all the bot authors that are partaking in this. Couldn't be done without you. Just couldn't. All right, Endersword, what do we got coming up?
So we've got one of our longest term favorites, Micro Machine, and this time he is going to be fighting an octopus.
He is.
Version
Didn't
3.
he already go to the sea? He went to the sea
yeah, he did. He was in a
oh, he's in the sea again.
He's in the sea again, which makes sense that he's
I wonder if we did that
fight the octopus. But yeah, he's a multi-time winner of this tournament, and Elo there of 2249, still very much near the top. And tends to be kind of like the veteran perennial favorite a lot of the times, and has really evolved from Micro Machine in the very first season. I think literally just made Marines and sent them across the map, or maybe it was I forget. It may have been Reapers
something
first.
Simple.
I think it was something very, very simple, but then has evolved into a much more complex sort of thing. But yeah, Micro Machine made by a pair of authors out of Quebec, and yeah, great.
Yeah,
great
he's
folks.
just always one of the ones to beat. He has been targeted so many times with worker rushes and cheeses and you name it, that he has just built up almost a perfect bot, I would say. It's very close, because even though it doesn't receive regular updates like a lot of our bots, it's still hard, almost impossible for a lot of bots to beat, I think. You know, some of the top bots will go back and forth with it, but no bot really beats Micro Machine like 100% consistent.
Yeah,
it just doesn't happen. Yeah, I'd say Eris, obviously the closest probably to it, but even Eris loses games to Micro Machine from what I've seen. So you know, it's not unheard of. It's not impossible. But yeah, like, it's not impossible to beat Micro Machine, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, Micro Machine really one of the first ones that really kind of perfected this strategy of constant aggression while pulling back damaged units to get repaired. And one of the initial like successes that he found was using a lot of Mass Reaper, which of course auto heal when you remove them from combat. So that kind of then led to Banshees being repaired, Cyclones being repaired, battleships, whatever it is, constantly pulling back units while continuing aggression. And then Octopus V3. Here we go, spelling out
there
something.
he is. I was wondering when that'd pop up.
And
what does that say?
I don't know. I expected it.
Oh, it just spells octopus.
Is it octopus? Yeah, it does say it. I was expecting it to spell like Protoss or something, but yeah,
that's how I thought it was too. I thought it was like a PR or something.
Yeah, makes sense though.
That's cool. Like that.
So yeah, one of the ones that's brand new. So I'm not sure what to expect out of this.
It's a Python bot.
Yeah, the fact that it's V3 does imply that, of course, this has been around for a while, just not in.
Maybe it doesn't stand for version 3.
Yeah, it could be not. It could be like
be any number of things.
It could be Octopus. Yeah, it could just be like Octopus V, kind of like a tribute to James Bond movies.
Yeah, I was just like something
like that.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. Again, he is a new Python bot. Says micro focused. That is pretty much the main note we have on him. Yeah. So we'll see what he can bring against Micro Machine in his first debut appearance here on ProBots. Let's go ahead and get into this best of 3.
Raf RR and Unusuals.
Micro Machine.
Takados.
Octopus V3. All right. Here we are on the ancient cistern once again. Ancient water well. I would imagine it's a Protoss cistern. I don't know. If it's ancient, it's got to be Protoss.
Yeah.
Humans aren't ancient.
Yeah.
In the
Zerg didn't really make stuff like this. It could be everything. Could be Zelnaga though. It's everything can always be Zelnaga.
I think it's assumed it's Zelnagan. Yeah. Zelnagan, would that be the correct term?
I think so.
Zelnagan.
Yeah, that's what you call one with a big head.
But we're here all week. All right, we've got again Octopus up here in the top right, doing a bit of a wall off with a forge. So this is typically more of a build that you would see against Zerg, I would think, right? Doing the little forge, basically a forge fast expand is what it almost feels like.
That's kind of what it's shaping up to be, because it's not offensive.
It's purely defensive.
Yeah, and usually, and part of the reason that you don't tend to do this against Terran is because Reaper don't care.
Yep, he'll just go around it.
Yeah, it doesn't need to go through there, but
and the whole ranged units thing. Obviously, a lot of Zerg units early game are melee, the Zerglings and all that, but Reapers, Marines, Marauders, tanks, those all shoot from a distance. So the tank or the cannons, not as necessarily useful unless they're doing like a really early proxy Terran or proxy Marine something. But nope, that's not the case. Micro Machine doesn't really do cheesy things, I'd say. He just, he maybe does like a quick Banshee or something like that, but
Yeah, you'd
Never
say
proxied
aggressive
or-
things, but it's
Aggressive
not,
things, yeah.
yeah, but it's not
cheesy.
cheese things. It's never an all-in, basically.
Yeah.
Is the thing. There's always a follow-up, and that's
Yeah, I
kind
don't
of
think
the-
I don't think he knows.
Yeah.
He maybe in the past he did all-ins to start, but yeah, Micro Machine now just keeps playing. If he's winning, he'll just keep winning. If he's losing, he'll keep fighting back, and half the time come back and start winning again. Like, he is so durable and hard to beat. That is why he's been one of the top bots for so long. So yeah, if you've been around, you've seen Micro Machine, you know what we're talking about. But if you're new, definitely check out some of his replays if you can get access to them. If you're trying to make your own bot, just for some inspiration, because Micro Machine really is basically the template of what Terran should be doing. You know, in general. Obviously, there's wiggle room, but
yeah, he's not going up into that base at all. Usually, he will poke in and
did
take
he not
a look.
check it out? Even
He went everywhere except that base.
let us know who you want to win in chat as well. We got a little poll, and I believe chat is now open to non-subscribers. Why we? Oh, that's because I'm leaning into it. Sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. My mic gets. I get a little excited. I lean into these games a little too much.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah, see, just like that. No, thank you for letting me know.
Yeah,
what was I
so
saying?
a
Yeah,
lot
let us
of
know
defense.
how you're doing in chat.
A lot of defense coming up here, like shield batteries. We've got the photon cannons there. Finally, the Reaper does come up into the main base and is going to scout around. A dog creating chaos in the back.
Yeah, my dog's knocking over my wall.
Yeah.
Reaper, he gets
Reaper.
pinned. He's
Is he
in
gonna
between
get-
a cannon and
Yeah, nowhere out of there. So well
go.
designed and well triangulated together.
Yeah,
And,
that's not often you catch a Micro Machine Reaper.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we'll see. Micro Machine has been known to do a lot of Banshee plays, so the shield battery and cannon behind each mineral line can certainly help out with defending in that. And yeah,
Look at the. Well, you're just gonna say with Octopus.
Yeah.
Were you talking about his production tab?
I was a little bit in that one. He's getting the shields. I think maybe because of his reliance on shield batteries, he was figuring that that's the way to go. I don't know that I agree with that, but I get the logic if that's what he's doing. But yeah, he's behind a bit in terms of economy, like 5 workers back. Usually the Protoss would be able to jump ahead because of the speed. Yeah, exactly, the chrono boost. But he's using that a lot on other things, so you could see him. He's using it actually on that shield that we are mentioning, the shield upgrade.
And Micro Machine just knows his timings. Right as that third base got plopped down, a Marine showed up. I was like, "Hey, I see you." Yeah, nothing
will
gets
get
past
picked
Micro
off.
Machine.
Army
Very
coming
little
out,
gets past Micro
and see if he can defend this at all, because the army supply is 33 to 10. So much has been put into defensive static stuff that it would actually be hard to stop this.
Yeah, well, we'll see how much Micro Machine commits into the cannons to fight. As long as Octopus can take a good fight in cannon range,
he'd be fine there. I
sure.
think he may just take this third and go home.
Third's done. Third's got to get canceled. We'll see if he has that. Ooh, the Adepts actually pushed the Cyclone away a little bit. That's kind of nice. Okay, it does cancel.
Does cancel. Good.
Good. Let's see what Micro Machine does. All right, he cleans up the Adepts, and it looks like he wants to maybe keep pushing here. So it's going to really come down to Micro Machine, whether he wants to try to break through the wall, or I guess maybe he could just hold this position, too. I didn't think of that.
He can just keep him there. Because he's still very much got the advantage in terms of army supply. This Void Ray doesn't want to come out where it is.
Oh, it's dead.
It did.
It didn't want to, but it did what it was told.
Yeah, that is where it went.
It died. Yeah, there's Banshee here now. Hey, I think Micro Machine's going to push in here, but I got to say, Octopus had a great little start there. Catching the Reaper, obviously, always a good way to go. The Micro definitely is there for Octopus. He was doing some decent maneuvering, but it's Micro Machine, man. You're almost never going to Micro Machine as a lot offer. It's just, I don't know what to say.
Good targeting there. The shield battery went down first.
So Cannon's actually getting a lot of kills here. What the heck?
They are largely because he was kind of ignoring them, and he still is.
Right? Okay, it gets one.
He went after the battery first, which maybe made sense, but then he went after the gateway next, and let the cannons live. But the Banshee here in the back, it's gotten tagged there as well.
Nice Void Ray placement gets the Banshee
somewhere, or is it dead?
Oh wait, it got revealed?
It had
oh yeah, there's
it had the
icon,
icon, right? Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
But now he's just chilling. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, he's out of energy. He can't do it yet.
And that's one of the reasons oracles are used. And the Void Ray goes down. Hey, a decent little attempt to hold here out of Octopus. He's actually held this off way longer than I thought he would. But Micro Machine's got 44 army supply, about to group up with the rest of us here, and then that will be able to push in and take this here. But if decent start.
If he could get rid of the front line here, like the little bit of bio and a couple of cyclones, then definitely the Void Rays could push back against the tanks. But the cyclones are kind of the perfect thing to stop this. And it does look like he's poking on through.
It's definitely a little bit too much of an investment into cannons there. Obviously, if like there was a lot of Banshees coming in, it'd be helpful, or Reapers or things like that. Trying to sneak around your base, it kind of shuts that down, as we saw. But just a few too many cannons and not enough units.
Yeah,
I think for that first fight.
Especially when you're going to push out to a third. If you're going to do some sort of two-base timing, and the cannons were going to help you get there, then that's one thing. But if you're going to expand, then you got to know that you're vulnerable, that the expansion doesn't have that protection. You've got to rebuild it there, and the army can't really help you defend. So, Micro Machine just kind of picking things apart, and
we could probably fast forward here to
not clear the direction Octopus was going to go, whether it was just going to be a mass Void Ray, or whether there was an intention to go up into like Tempest or something like that afterwards. But
maybe we don't see Tempest a lot still. A couple bots. Sharkbot uses them. Tier when he was Protoss. Not a lot of Protoss utilize the Tempest, and I do still think that is one of the more underutilized things. Because it's tricky to deal with.
Yeah, they're one of the things, just because of range and everything, they end up really good. And there was a while that it was kind of dominating our bot meta, and then I feel like they kind of went away despite not being
we saw him do some cool things. We saw him fail a couple times, but we definitely saw them do a lot of really good early game pressure, a lot of shaping the game into the way that the Protoss wants it to be. But then they just fell out of style again. I don't know. It is, so if you think about it, I guess, especially if you're a newer bot author, that's one of those things that you either jump straight to it and that's all your bot can do, or you do have to, like you've been talking about, build up to that point by doing a bunch of other little things. And it takes time to figure out and build in and put all those little things in to get you safely to something like Tempest. Because it's not quick to go straight into Tempest. It's not cheap. So it's a committal for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You have to, make it to that point, and then not only make it to the point, but one or two Tempests out doesn't help you. You need a bunch to really start doing the work.
For sure. All right, well, we've got game 2 about ready to go here, and we're going to dive into it and to see what happens. It's always kind of the unfortunate scenario for the new bot author, but they always seem to be matched up against Micro Machine, and it is not an easy task. But we'll see what happens here in game 2. And who will move on. Let's go.
Raf RR and Unusuals.
Micro Machine.
Talkados.
Octopus B3. Back to Gressvan, whatever it is.
And Micro Machine mentioning in its chat there that he's choosing early expand, and Octopus seemed to acknowledge that he is playing StarCraft.
That is true. Tag StarCraft. So now it may seem rude right there. He's saying prepare to get crushed. Micro Machine is, but he's just being a realist. You know, according to his stats, he's won 100% of his fights against it. So it's, you know, you're gonna get crushed. It's nothing personal. You know, nothing personal, kid. But you know, we'll see what happens.
did notice, even though it's not selected in there, and we say that he doesn't tend to do cheesy things, on that list of options was Worker Rush.
Yep, it's there. We don't see it ever. I don't think we've seen it. I think we only see it in response.
Proxy, we see the Proxy Marauders a fair bit.
The Proxy Marauders, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, against Protoss. The Proxy Cyclones, not so much.
I don't think we've seen that yet.
I'm
sure he does it, but we haven't seen it in ProBots yet. So.
It's usually early. I almost feel early expand tends to be Micro Machine's first pick most of the time, and then if he doesn't win, he doesn't deviate, or doesn't lose, he doesn't deviate. I mean,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if you're winning, why change?
Yeah. So I think we often just see that ending up as the thing picked.
Yeah. Well, it's shaping up to be a very standard macro game here, which, again, I was talking about earlier about how that's probably the best way to play. You know, if you can do it correctly and play safely and hit certain timings and that kind of thing. But against Micro Machine, it's kind of one of the worst ways to play, just because Micro Machine is a beast. He's a macro god. He's so hard to cripple in any capacity. So you can do any number of cheeses, or you know, try to keep up with him. He's really hard to keep up with. So anyway, I'm fanboying Micro Machine a little bit here today.
A little bit, but
often, he's a great bot.
Often quite justified. There's
goodbye, probe.
There. We'll go down.
A little hit and run, gets the probe and gets out. Let's go. Now he's gonna go. He's just gonna keep scouting around the outskirts, make sure nothing cheesy's going down. No early expands, no thirds, things like that. Because if there is, he'll shut it down. You can guarantee that.
Now we are getting quite a different build out of Octopus here. Still doing some of these defensive things in terms of the shield battery, but has gotten a Stargate much quicker, and we're not getting that forge up front. So instead of trying to wall at the front, there's something at the top of the ramp in the main, and so we're going to see a different style and a faster one, I guess, out of Octopus.
That's awesome to see that. To see that adaptation. Obviously, and I wonder, it might just be a map specific thing. You can't really wall this one off like you could the last one with cannons. That is a big
this would be tough anyway. To do
so I wonder if that's a map specific, like, oh, I'm never gonna wall this anyway. So just screw
certainly possible to do that. And it looks like he's going without the forge too. It means the batteries are coming down, but not the cannon defense, which I think is nice, because you need, if you're going for these early void rays, you need a lot of that extra minerals to be able to do that.
It ain't cheap.
There's an Oracle coming out now, and hopefully maybe we get to see this on the offense or something.
Well, we're see it last.
Did you notice there too? We're gonna get to see the Micro Machine speed mining through a bunker.
Oh yeah, we should definitely talk
mining,
about that. The gas mining, yeah, because we've talked about speed mining, but Micro Machine does his very own special gas mining here. You can see how this works. Well, I'm actually, because we're talking in post-bots about how the bots work and stuff, it would be awesome if we could get Micro Machine authors on to talk about that just a little bit. So stay tuned. We may or may not have them on the show again. We've had them before, but all depends on their busy schedules. Oh, Reaper gets through. No full wall off this time is going to stop him. He's gonna actually get away.
Well escape.
Run, Reaper.
The revelation there was used. It's I don't know that I like the idea of just making an Oracle to do that though. If you're making an early Oracle, I think you need to use it.
I mean, he kind of is, because what if Micro Machine had gone Widow Mines? You know, it's really nice to have that tag the Widow Mine.
If you see a Widow Mine, that's great, but a Reaper,
that was just what was there. All right, he had the Oracle in case of Widow Mines.
I guess I think it should be based on it's fine too to have the Oracle and have it defensive, but then don't waste the ability, because for all you know.
Oh, Void Ray, what are you doing?
Void Ray dying right there. It doesn't seem to know to avoid things like that.
Yeah, just flew.
But yeah, if you're gonna have your Oracle there for safety, then don't waste energy.
Yeah, you want to save the energy, yeah, to harass or kill. So yeah, even an Oracle to join the fight,
Yeah,
kill some Marines could be
this
really
is
good.
potentially kind of cute. It may get the Cyclone. Yay.
Oh, nice! I didn't even see the stasis ward there.
Yeah, that's not
Hey,
exactly
again,
what I
already
wanted,
that
but it
is in
works.
like the top 2 most useful
Yeah.
Oracles ever in ProBots
Yeah.
with that one stasis alone. So, cheers, Octopus. Good job. I'm not being sarcastic, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm being
No,
dead serious
true,
with that. Oracles are not successful in ProBots.
Oh, this is interesting. I don't know if he's gonna live long enough to get to it, but the plan was carriers.
That's a good plan. I like that.
Oh, he
Two-base
must
carrier
he
rush.
must have
Nice.
one. He must have one because one's building interceptors. So this is the second one that's being built.
Okay.
So if
That's a
if
cute
two
plan.
carriers come out, they don't necessarily die immediately, but
Oh,
Let's see.
this one will here for sure. There's Cyclones and Marines. That's like the anti-carrier build.
but there's also shield batteries.
There are shield batteries and a weird ramp that Micro Machine has to go up. Okay.
See it's got a chance.
Two carriers in a dream. Let's go.
Yeah, it's a little late, but he's got a chance. The
He's
void
gonna get the
rays.
Cyclones. Yeah, he's gonna actually push this back. I think this initial attack. That's already better than last game. Heck yeah.
Yeah, and if
Fun.
he can keep, unfortunately, losing that base means that he can't keep the production up that much.
Yeah.
But he could go for a little bit at least if he
Oh, he has
realizes
to. He
it and
has to
three carriers push across or something. Then maybe he can do something with that. But
Yeah, if he waits at all, it's over because my Vikings are already on the way.
Yeah.
Micro Machine is no slouch. He sees carriers, he builds Vikings. Nah, I think the window's a little too closed here.
Yeah.
But definitely some potential. Yeah, if he had kept the second base alive, if he had maybe just taken a little bit better of a fight and not lost so much in those first engagements, so he had units to support the carriers, all of a sudden you've got a nice little 2-base push to counterattack with as Micro Machine's trying to secure his third.
Yeah.
So definitely some potential in this build. I love a good 2-base carrier rush.
it is
I think
it is
that's a lot of
nice.
fun.
And if he still had the 2 bases, then
Oh, get out
maybe
of there.
there's something here.
Oh, third
The other
carrier
one.
comes up to save the day. Oh, that carrier barely gets out of there. Oh, he's gonna sacrifice himself for his buddy.
Yeah,
Nice
doing an
carrier,
okay
Micro. I
job.
gotta say.
Yeah, doing
This is
an
pretty
okay job here
impressive.
so far. But getting really low. He's kind of got to get
Yeah,
these
it's
back
not
to the
enough.
shield batteries because that was the point. There we go.
This will get broken. It's just
Yeah.
a matter of time. But
The kamikaze void rays will help.
yeah, hey, if they get the Vikings, they will. This is fun. I love a good 2-base build here, and yeah, if this had just had 30 more seconds, I think this becomes actually really scary.
Yeah, possibly. It's
Carriers are holding the line right now, barely.
yeah. So I kind of wonder if this was what he was trying to get up to in the game before as well, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what the cannons and everything were for, to like delay for it. This time without that, you can see obviously he breaks down the front door a lot quicker before this stuff is really ready. But again, he may get a successful pushback here yet again. But unfortunately, we're not gonna get continued carriers
No.
simply because we're out of money.
Yeah. Well, not in time. He's got to say, yeah, if he was given time, he could get that second base up and running and maybe get a little more. Man, the fact he just now lost to carrier is very
Yeah.
impressive, though. Very impressive Micro out of these things. Yeah, Void Rays were a little bit suicidal, but the carriers, they know what
Yeah.
they're doing. Looking good, looking very good. All right, this is over. We can fast forward through the rest of this here. All right, so Micro Machine is going to move on to the winner's match, and Octopus will go down into that lower portion,
Yes.
where they will both be awaiting their next opponents. We're going to talk about once this game is all over. We've got one more best of 3 here for y'all tonight. So again, thanks for tuning in to day 2 of ProBots. This was a nice little best of 3 here. Again, new
Now-
bot versus Micro Machine
Now, do you
typically goes
think-
one way.
Do you think the Octopus is named after the carrier because a carrier is a ship with 8 interceptors? So if that's kind of been his core
Oh.
strategy, that may be why he's the
There's,
Octopus.
there's a little relation there.
Yeah.
Okay. Ah, that's clever.
Possible.
Good, Endersword, you have a keen mind for things like that. All right, so we're gonna do a little quick break here. We're getting a couple little things fixed up while we get our next series loaded. But we've got, again, another best of 3. Actually, we could probably just sit here and talk about it for a little bit. If we need more time, we'll get more time. But we have an awesome way to finish off our night. Zozo versus Osavi bot. 2 brand new bots who we have no idea what is going to happen. This is my favorite kind of match. One that just no idea what it's going to happen. We are doing a 30-second break. Okay, 30-second break. We'll be right back to talk about more games. Stay tuned, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for being patient. We just had a quick little issue to fix up there, something. But we have, again, one more best of 3 for you tonight. Before we dive into it, before we talk about all this, though, make sure you check out all the links below me if you're just tuning in. Again, this is day 2 of our tournament here. We have a lot of cool stuff available for you if you are a new bot author. We've got a lot more content if you want to help support the channel. You get access to post bots. And we're going this season into a much more in-depth dive into how some of these bots work by actually talking with the bot authors and having them come and talk to us about their bot and picking their brain about how they built it and what inspired them and things like that. So it's a lot of fun. Come check it out if you like extra ProBots content. But Endersword, we have got 2 new bots coming up. What do you think of that?
I think it's great, and I love that it's a PvP.
Is it? Nice.
Yeah, it appears to be. Zozo was in last season, but I think maybe was out quickly.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. You're totally right.
So I don't know a lot. And then, of course, because it was the first season, there's probably a lot of updates that have been done. But particularly if we're seeing now an ELO over 2,000, then tells me there's been improvements. So, was Zozo as we're seeing in the portrait there, the worker rush bot?
Is he a worker?
Was it the one that was it the worker rush bot that lost to Dovakin? Maybe.
Oh, maybe I can't remember.
I'd have to refresh myself, but that rings a bell now. And Osavi bot is another Protoss player. And
both Python bots, by the way.
This one new. We have no information apparently.
Nothing on pretty much either of these guys.
Yeah.
But no, it should be fun. So my mistake. So not 2 totally new bots. 1 mostly new bot, second appearance, and then 1 totally new bot, Osavi bot. But again, to qualify to be in the top 16 for the tournament is still very impressive. Definitely shows the skills off that these bot authors have to be able to get in here, because these are the top bots of the entire StarCraft AI arena scene, in my opinion.
Indeed.
Obviously, it changes every day. The ladder is ever going. Go to aiarena.net to check it all out. All right, Endersword, let us get into our final best of 3 of the night. Thank you again, everybody, for hanging out. Make sure you tell all your friends about us. Hit that little thumbs up button. Get us a few more views on YouTube so more people can see the awesomeness that are these AI bots. But let's go ahead and hop into our final series, Zozo versus Osavi bot. Let's go.
Sam Ogon.
Zozo.
Osavi's.
Osavi bot. All right, Golden Aura, and you were right, Endersword.
Yeah, that's what I remember. That's what I remember. So this could be
remembered well.
Could be a quick series.
Quick night of games tonight, apparently.
Yeah. So let's see.
It hasn't even been. Oh no, it's been almost 2 hours. Okay, I thought it was like an hour. I was like, what happened? Quick night. All right. Well, we'll see how this happens. We'll see if Osavi bot has the worker rush. Now, again, this is kind of the litmus test too. Are you ready for ProBots? Because there seems to always be one bot that likes to worker rush, especially in these early stages, because it is and can be a quick way to knock somebody out and just get a nice advance into the round of 8 if your opponent's not ready for a worker rush. But nice surround out of Osavi. He actually gets a really good concave. and he does have probe micro of his own.
Yeah.
And it looks like he actually came out on top of that fight. A lot less wounded probes for Osavi Bot. So
definitely
nice
is.
done.
The other thing I really like, and this appears to be quite deliberate, is he had saved up 100 minerals before the gateway was even done and didn't spend it.
Oh.
And then, because the mistake that a lot of bots will make is they'll have the money and then buy more probes.
Because the probe died or
probes.
something. Yeah.
And he didn't do that. He's now has the zealot out.
That's it.
And I think now with this,
I
love that though. I love that.
Oh, one more probe goes down.
Now back
the recall. Man, we haven't seen that in years.
Yeah.
All right, worker rush recall. I think Tyr was the last person to do that, and it worked really well for him. So things are going to slightly stabilize here, actually.
Yeah. So losing 8 of those, and
he only lost. Wait, who lost more? Wait, go back to the units lost tab.
Yeah, Zozo lost 8.
Zozo lost 8. How many did Osavi lose?
I think 1. Yeah, 1.
So Osavi just didn't build that many, I guess.
Oh, wait, yeah, no, the opposite. Yeah, exactly. Osavi lost 8.
He stopped building to get that zealot out, meanwhile, while Zozo was attacking, he must have been back home building more workers. Yeah,
he did. So you're relatively even here. The difference being Osavi's got had both gases down, has the gateway down, and so on. So he's got the time advantage here, and he's going to have the cyber core a lot quicker, but economically is a little further behind.
No, it's unless he chrono boost probes, he's actually going to fall behind here. Yeah. Because once Zozo's infrastructure is done, he's got the better worker count, and he's just ahead at that point. So yeah, Osavi a little bit slow to get that worker count rocking and rolling here. We'll see how it pans out. Looks like Zozo wants to get aggressive off the back of all this.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, that makes sense with the strategy.
Osavi Bot's clearly chrono boosting the warp gate. So I think, I'd probably do the same thing too, although he's doing it off just the one gateway right now. So if you're going to do this and you're going to make, what happened there?
What?
He was chrono boosting it. There was a unit there.
Oh, the stalker? No, it's behind the cyber.
There it is. Yeah, that was weird. That was a weird angle. Okay. Okay. And he's going into the robo. So yeah, if you're gonna really chrono boost stuff out and prioritize the warp gate, I would have probably wanted more warp gates, because the whole point is that you're gonna attack with that. But yeah, either way, they're gonna end up fairly similar here. A slight advantage on Zozo's side economically, but yeah, they're gonna end up somewhat. They're
similar. Both taking different routes to the same place, essentially. Because I do think Osavi Bot's now going to be able to balance out the infrastructure the deficit that he had. Because, he had that little bit earlier Robo Bay. Now he's got the gateway coming up. Worker count is pretty much evened out because Zozo has stopped and has decided to stick on one base. If Zozo had expanded and kept going, this would be heavily in Zozo's favor. Just economically, just everything. Yeah. So the fact that he's stuck on one base actually gives Osavi a really good fighting chance here. Like a really good fighting chance, I think. We'll see. This is gonna be a one base versus one base brawl. I love it. All right.
That's what we're shaping up towards.
Go.
And a lot of this is gonna come down to immortal control.
I miss my Wings of Liberty fights, Endersword.
Yeah. There we go. We're now 3 gates against 3 gates. Oh, the warp prism.
That's huge.
Warp prism micro is absolutely gigantic. If he's got really good micro, then that's
going to win him the game.
Definitely help things out.
He's
moved out before the immortal is ready, though. So if he ends up attacking in when one does pop out here, then that's okay. The zealot's going to kill himself.
Yep.
Initially.
He's done. Oh, Stalker! Don't fight alone. Yeah, the collective hive mind of Osavi Bot isn't quite in sync here. They're all just kind of going in and attacking.
I like the hallucination.
That's awesome. Yeah, we don't see that ever.
Yeah,
because it did push the stalkers back. The stalkers were afraid of it. Even if they could identify it was a force field the rep. It doesn't matter.
The immortal's not coming to play. It's just standing up there.
Oh,
at the moment.
Immortal.
Yeah, if he needs. If this army just attacked together, I think this is an easy hold.
Oh, yeah, if you had the Immortal right now in the front, boom, that one Stalker's dead. 2 more shots, that other Stalker's dead.
Yeah, it may be in his benefit if these manage to get up the ramp.
Now he comes in.
Okay, Immortal coming in now. He can't quite fire. There he is. Nice force field from behind. That's something we never see.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it doesn't matter because he has the warp prism, but still.
Yeah, excellent warp prism as well.
That.
Yeah, we just never really see that on location. The Immortal here is going to clean up a bunch of these stalkers. But he may lose the Immortal in the process. So there's one, now two on Zozo's side, and there hasn't been more being built on Osavi's side.
Just now got started. Now, this is definitely going to go in Zozo's favor. The two Immortals are going to be unstoppable at this point. But still, a real close little first skirmish, or it would have been a lot closer if all of Osavi Bot's units had attacked into that with that Immortal help. Yeah, this probably actually could have gotten help, and maybe even pushed back if Osavi had been able to jump on that first Immortal with his own or something. But no, a nice build out of Zozo. A really nice, aggressive, almost in that Benbot style where you have that early game strategy to slow down your opponent. It wasn't an all-in in this case. I kind of thought it would be, but in this case, the workers went out, slowed down things for Osavi Bot because he had to pull his own workers. He prioritized getting that Zealot out, so his economy was really far behind. But the recall put Zozo right back into it and actually put him pretty much ahead.
Yeah.
So it's a really fun little opener that we haven't seen for a couple of years, where you just go take all your workers, try to screw up the opponent's build a little bit. If it's part of your build, then it doesn't really screw much up because that's what you were planning on. So, it works out. It's fun. It's a good little build. I like it. Okay.
Definitely good.
Game 2 coming up in just 1 minute, everybody. Again, this is our final series of the night, so thank you for being here and joining us for these games.
Oh, yeah. Stats, let's take a look at it.
Let's take a look. There he is.
Okay. So, 1,700 elo. Towards the bottom. I think this may have been the lowest one for qualifying in, but still, you're qualifying in out of a ladder of like 50-something bots. So it's still good to be in that top like 15, 16 or so.
Oh, for sure.
And obviously, like we were kind of saying, there's certain things that are like gut checks of like, have you even met the bar to be in this competition? And the ability to hold that worker rush is one of those like stone cold bars. If you can't do that, you're just going to get exploited out of there. So his ability to be able to hold that is something that you usually don't see in people coming in the first time.
Doesn't Ketrok even do a worker rush?
I think so. Yeah.
I know he has the Marine Proxy. I can't remember if he has a worker rush. Yeah, there's just a few bots that have it randomly put in where it won't even do it most of the time, but all it takes is that one
just
time
in there
that you're not ready for it. And it's just that you're thinking, oh, this is ProBots. I'm going to be dealing with the top builds and all that. Now, these bots like to get down and dirty in the mud too, and still like to play those scrappy games and create weird scenarios, which is awesome for us as viewers. I think it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
So keep it up. Keep doing those weird things, bot authors. I like to see it. Keep coming up with new, fun, innovative builds. Because, sometimes that is the way to win ProBots, is just doing something unexpected. Because, again, we do have 2 update rounds throughout the tournament. So we're going to see some new things out of all the bots that move on and all the bots that get updated. So,
yeah, definitely.
Cool. All right.
Definitely the case.
Game 2 is ready. Let's do it, everybody. Let's see what happens in Game 2 here on ProBots.
Sam Ogon.
Zozo.
Osavi's.
Osavi Bot. All right, are we ready? Ready for another worker rush undersword?
Looks like we are. And
let's do it. All right, I want to watch his worker count this time. So workers dead even at the moment. Both still producing back at home. Like everything's fine. Everything's normal. let's see how many. I guess it does come down to how many workers die for both bots. How much? I guess Zozo. No, again, Zozo only lost 1 last time, but only had like 10. Now he's got 16. What something happened last game. That was weird. So anyway, here we go.
Almost identical. That you see 105 minerals is exactly what it was last time for Osavi bot, and he doesn't spend them. But then watch as the counts change.
15
so Zozo lost 1, and Osavi bot has not lost any yet. But there must be some point at which he does.
Yeah, he's got to take a certain amount of damage, and then he'll just recall out of there.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe it's not a. Maybe it's a timing thing.
I think it's here that it's here that it started to turn. Although it looks like he may lose less this time, because Osavi bot lost 8 last time. Maybe he only lost 3 this time.
The Zealot prompts the recall. Maybe
he lost a couple there right at the tail end.
There it is. Oh, he doesn't get them all even. Oh, okay, 2 workers go down that time. Nice.
2 extra is nice for him. So we're starting at
pretty dead even.
6. Yeah, so 4 to 5. That's way different, obviously, than what it was in the last game. So
way more even.
See what this translates out to. It means we're going to get quicker gas collection, possibly a faster immortal out. But I'm more concerned about the positioning. So it felt like Osavi bot. Just the positioning and movement around the ramp was the problem. That he had the material anyway. Like even the last game, he had the material to stop that, but they weren't attacking in tandem. They were waiting and kind of attacking in a fairly awkward way. So see this time if he's got more out of that. The other big thing, and it may have been again a result of the lack of economic equality that was there, but he made 1 immortal and stopped. So if he's gonna do it that way, the same sort of tactics, he's got to make more, obviously.
Oh yeah. Well, with the better economy, in theory, he should be able to. I think he just didn't have the money for it last time.
It may be simply down to that.
Wow, he's got his Robo on the way well before Zozo's Cyber's even finished. This is so much better for Osavi bot this time around. He is in a much better place. And we're going to see Immortals out. Maybe he'll be able to push out down into his natural or something so the Immortal will actually get into the fight this time. Because that's going to be huge. If you're not fighting with your Immortal, you're not
definitely. And you're right. The fact that these buildings are just in a different spot. Here's a replay from, is this earlier this game? No, this must be last game. But you can see
Here's replays of last game.
Yeah, you can see
we're playing with our new replay function, as you
exactly. But you can probably see at the tail end of this replay, depending how long it goes, that you'll have Osavi bot losing a lot towards the end.
Interesting. Yeah, no, we just got the new replay feature, so we're playing with a little bit here tonight. All right, well, we got RoboBay just now finishing up for Zozo, so he's actually not too far behind now. He's going to prioritize the Warp Prism first, which I think is the right call.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to go across and start doing pressure immediately, even before the Immortal's done, you got to have some kind of escape route, some kind of retreat plan for your Stalkers and that kind of thing. Like, if they get force fielded on the ramp, they've got to be able to lift and get out of there, or you're just going to lose them. So I think it's a good call to go the Warp Prism first with how aggressive he's being.
If he's trying to warp into that point, there's kind of 2 ways to do it. You either go with this and start the attack before the Immortal gets there, or you flip it so that the Immortal's walking across and the Warp Prism, which is faster, catches up to it. But I think he wants to hit as quick as possible.
Yeah, he wants to start putting that pressure on.
Yeah, and I don't know if he knows, like, if it's got a good metric of how much damage was done or not.
You mean last game or
no? Like in any game, like to know whether or not he's ahead or not.
Well, he's gonna get that first
if you're
zealot.
ahead, if you're ahead, you want to attack as quick as possible. If you're behind, you don't necessarily.
Well, not necessarily. If you're behind, you can sometimes do a little attack to stall and delay your opponent while you try to catch up.
Yeah.
Depending on how it's executed. Right now, it's not being executed properly. 2 Stalkers already going down. 3rd dies. Oh boy, looks like Osavi has flip the switch here, and
yeah, we got
is just going to
good
push
warp
this back.
prism, good warp prism micro, but he's a little too intent on continuing the attack. The immortal
He's not going to be able to save him.
If the immortal comes in behind, he could get trapped.
Oh, he is going to get trapped.
Actually,
where's warp prism?
I think the zealot saved him.
Oh yeah, pushed it back just a little bit. There's still a lot of units closing around this this
two
immortal
stalkers
here.
in the back though. Get the warp prism in.
Get out of there! Get out of there, immortal! Oh, second immortal shows up.
They did get one.
Oh, the first immortal doesn't get re-picked up though, and it dies. And it looks like this one's probably gonna die too. And Osavi bot has turned things around, is on the offensive, and I think might just be able to push now into the win because it's the exact reverse scenario. Now, 2 immortals against the none of Zozos, and 2 immortals versus no immortals just wins. Oh, okay, here's one
coming down, although
it's still 2 versus 1. 2 immortals
here.
are just so strong.
Hallucination is absorbing shots as he closed
That
in.
absorbed a lot.
That did take a lot of shots. He's kind of running out of army though. With the really good micro, he may not want to actually push into this, but let's see.
The immortals do too much damage. Anytime the shot connects, it's just devastating. Absolutely devastating. Boom, 2 versus 1. Immortals.
There we go.
All right, game number 2 is going to go to Wasabi.
Yeah, he's going
We're going to an ace match.
He's still going to be a tiny bit careful, but he's fine with the 2 zealots, I think.
I don't know. He's gotten all the workers bolt this season. So. This is done. We're going to my coveted ace match.
8 workers.
It's funny. Last week, the last match of the night was also our ace match.
It was, yeah. Leave the best for last.
Leave the best for last. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna basically kill all the probes. He may not even be able to finish it right now, but it's over.
Oh, it's 100% over.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is devastatingly over. Yeah, we'll have the little immortal pushback. Yeah, with the warp prism, you could argue maybe Zozo actually slow it down. Zozo could get something done with this immortal here. Slow her down. Slow her down. Whoa. Slow her down. Whoa. Okay, or just
no.
Oh, okay, the immortal's dead. It happened too fast. I didn't see you die.
Yeah.
No, now you can just let it go. Now it's super over. I just want to see maybe the immortal in the prism could make some cheeky happen just for a little bit, but nah, I got pushed back pretty immediately there. All right, ace match time, everybody. Great way to go out on tonight's games. Again, day 2 here. If you've just tuned in, and great set of games tonight. A little quick, but definitely some interesting things to take away from tonight. A lot of little things that some of these bot authors will be able to update on. Again, I think some very reasonable updates and things that they can tweak within the next week or whenever the updates are due to be able to make their bot perform a lot better in the next round. Just a couple little things. Get like in this last game, getting that immortal, or in the first game, I guess, getting that immortal to attack with your army. Little things like that where you just got to tighten it up just a little bit.
So this coming into this, will he work a rush again? Because now he's lost with it.
Probably. And I think it feels like that's his thing because again, it's not an all in. It feels like it's more of the build order.
Yeah.
So let's find out. Game 3. Let's go.
Sam Ogon.
Zozo.
Osavis.
Osavi bot. This map seems to be coming up a lot.
Yeah.
It's a good map. I like it.
It's a decent one, and gonna have the rush distance can make a little bit of a difference here on these two, and I don't know what the rush distance timings actually are. Usually there's only maybe 6 seconds difference between the fastest and the slowest, but this one does feel a little bit slower, and we'll maybe see by what the mineral count is at the time he kind of recognizes this.
He's going to recognize right now. So, he's going to save up for that 100. Oh, he's only got 95!
Yeah. So that may be
Oh, one more probe. If you just put that away. Okay,
there's 100. So you got it.
He's got more workers mining still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I made a huge deal out of nothing there. I was excited. I thought it was.
It could have been something. Yeah, it definitely could have been something. He's got more mineral because I had the feeling like I'm like, isn't that more time? I think he may have built an extra probe.
I think he had a little more time, and he built that extra probe. So then he recognized it and stopped the whatever. But anyway, no, this is looking like a hold once again. Osavi has really good worker micro, just as Zozo does. So on the defensive in this scenario, especially with the Zealot popping out, you're just going to hold it.
Okay, this is interesting.
Oh,
so he's not triggered. There it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's a timing thing. I think at a certain time.
Okay, you got one.
Workers just get out
because the Zealot didn't go with him,
or after they've run away for X amount of seconds or something.
Yeah. Okay,
wow, minimal losses.
Quite
this time.
Different. Yeah, quite different. Yeah, I did feel like that was longer. We could check the rush distance on the map, but that felt a little longer. Yeah.
All right. Well, if things shape up like last game, Osavi's in a really good spot. Zozo, it does feel like Zozo does rely a bit on having that do some damage, having it slow down something. But in this case, it's just dead even, so it didn't really slow anything down. Like it did in that first game. Yeah, I wonder something really went different that first game that caused it to spiral out of control for Osavi. We'll have to go back and look sometime.
Yeah, it felt like at the tail end, there's a point at which Osavi bot pulls back most of his workers, but leaves like 4 or 5 of them out still fighting. And I think in the first game, he just lost those before the Zealot came out. And the last 2 times that didn't happen.
Okay, well, we're going to shape up and do a little normal one base versus one base again. This is awesome. I think more bots should do one base stuff. I think there is potential for a lot of timings that have not been exploited by these bots yet. No, and not just one base timings, some 2 base timings, some rushes to certain things, maybe like some charge rushes or something. We don't see a lot of quick... cheesy might not be the right word, but aggressive, like you said earlier, aggressive build orders. We see a lot more of the, I'm going to sit back, get a good economy, build up a decent army, and then try to go out and take some even fights and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I want to see a strong 2 base all-in, where you just have this awesome army. Tyr used to do a lot of really good 2 base builds with his Protoss, and had some success with it. So, I don't know. There's a lot of ways to go about it. Whatever tickles your pickle, I guess. What a weird saying. Where did that come from? Tickle the pickle. Probably don't want to dive too deep into it.
Probably not.
We want to keep this somewhat family friendly.
Yeah, exactly. I can think of two origins.
A couple reasons.
Yeah.
Do you ever see the movie where Seth Rogen gets pickled and preserved, and then like comes back to life later, like 30 years or like 50 years later or something?
I don't believe I have.
I forget what it's called. It's pretty funny actually. He's works in a pickle vat company, like an old pickle warehouse, and he falls into one of the vats, and then the company shuts down, and he just stays in there for 50 years or something.
That happens.
Totally, because that's how that works. But then somebody knocks it over, and he's still alive because he is perfectly preserved in the pickle juice.
It's definitely like a twist on the Frozen sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, that's the Brendan Fraser movie.
Encino Man. Yeah.
Or was that Encino Man? What was
Encino Man's the one where he's a caveman.
Oh no, I'm thinking the one where he got frozen in time. Blast from the Past, I think.
Has he been in 2 movies where he's frozen in time?
Yeah. There was one where he got cryogenically frozen, but then came back decades later and was like all young in the future. Anyway, we're gonna have a little engagement here. Yeah. Zozo coming out once again, just maybe a little too aggressively. Osavi bot was ready to meet him and has pushed this back.
On this.
Just jumped on it just so quickly, and already one stalker going down, another one in quite the pickle. Does get killed. And this is looking real good for Osavi bot again. It's all going to come down to Zozo bot's mortal count and micro. Back at home, there's one immortal here, but it should not be out here pretty much alone. It's got 2 stalkers for support, but that's not enough. No. Go home, immortal. Go home.
Nearly enough.
Go home and defend.
Yeah. I mean,
nice juggling, though.
Yeah, the War Prison does a really good job here. It's
that's
just
awesome.
yeah, it's just overwhelming.
It's just too much.
Yeah.
If there was a little bit more of even army numbers, the War Prism would be clutch.
I love this Archon too. Absolutely love the Archon.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, we've talked about hallucinations a lot and how they're never utilized, just because a lot of the time the bot could, ignore it or be programmed to deal with it, because bots just know everything for the most part, unless you got to tell them most of the time. But the immortal, or the hallucination this time, absorbed a lot of damage.
And it's still alive at this point too.
Still taking shots. Look at that.
So I think we're in the same state where we may not end it right this second, but enough workers are going to die, and maybe he will actually at this point. The immortal's still alive.
Yeah, the immortal's still here. That's done.
He's good to go. And
what a series! Zozo setting the pace and taking game one, but Osavi bot coming back with a reverse sweep. Figured out how to hold the worker rush, and that's it. GG.
Turns it around, and Encino Man is the same, but instead of being he's a caveman that gets frozen in ice for thousands of years or tens of thousands of years.
I think I've seen. God, it's been forever if I've seen that. I gotta go watch.
Brandon, it's with Polly Shore.
Oh
it's with Polly Shore and Samwise from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
whatever his name is. And,
I'm drawing a blank.
Great film.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it. I love Brendan Fraser.
Sean Astin.
Yeah. Sean Astin. Brendan Fraser flicks are awesome. They're a lot of fun. But this was an awesome night of games tonight. Some really good a nice showcase of what these bots can do tonight. We saw some really cool engagements, a lot of really fun micro-oriented stuff tonight. It seems like some of the new bots are really focusing on their micro skills, which is good to see, because that is a huge part of the bot scene. You can really turn a lot of fights around with proper micro, for sure. And you can lose a lot of fights with improper micro. Absolutely.
Yeah. Split up your forces, get distracted, all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff. Hey, good night of games, yeah? It's pretty fun.
Very good.
Good stuff. Hey, production, good job. Things are looking great, by the way. We do have our production working ever so diligently. Make sure you give them some shout outs and props.
We're going to get a final replay here.
We got another replay. Oh, boy. Let's watch one more replay before we wrap things up here. Again, day 2 of games here tonight. It was really fun. Next week, make sure you come back next week. We have our first bot eliminations. We're tossing bots in the junk pile next week. Always a lot of fun to watch. So make sure you come hit that little bell button if you want a notification. If not, just show back up here at ProBots at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be doing it all. And we've got a fun set of groups. We'll look at the bracket here, because no replay, I guess. You lied to me, Endersword.
Oh, well. Draken lied to me.
What the hell, Draken? All right, so we're going to be jumping into our lower groups next week. I would imagine we're going to start with Group A, but here's Group D.
Yeah.
Again, so we're going to see Octopus and Zozo next week. And then the week after, we'll jump back into that.
That'll be a super interesting one, because if Octopus tends to cannon off and Zozo tends to worker rush, how's that going to work out?
That's going to be... Well, but again, keep in mind, there will be updates. There is the option for updates for all these bots for next week. So we could see totally new strats. We could see ways to deal with the wall off or the worker rush, or any which way. But there's Group A, Zixter, Benbot.
It's after this one, I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, apparently. After the groups,
After the groups, we'll do the replay. Okay. Group B will be Dominion Dog, Sharpened Edge. That'll be a fun series. Nice TVP there. Dovakin versus Kanyeana. Little Zerg versus Zerg. That should be a lot of fun. Good. We don't see too many ZVZs in ProBots. We've only got a small handful of strong Zerg players going at it. So that'll be fun to see 2 of our really good Zergs going head to head. Only one of them can move on, though. So we're losing a Zerg next week. Wait, Kanyeana's in the upper and the lower. No, wait. Go back. Go get your ass back to Group B. Or Group C. What's going on here?
Yeah, you're right. That's not right. Yes, it's Smoothbrain. That's
Smoothbrain. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, wait, Kanyeana won.
Yeah, Kanyeana did.
I just lied to you all. I got excited for a ZVZ. Smoothbrain versus Dovakin will be happening. That is a lie. Dirty, dirty lie. Yeah, I saw Kanyeana up in the upper. I was like, wait a second. All right, so we'll get that fixed up. Anyway, just know that Smoothbrain... Okay, there it is. Smoothbrain, Dovakin. And now we can go to Group B. Now we've got that fixed. Oh yeah, we already saw Group D. We literally just watched Group D.
Yeah, so Dominion Dog and Sharkbot. This is probably the strongest loser game. Dominion Dog and Sharkbot.
That is going to be a killer game. I'm excited for that one. That's going to be really fun to watch. So yeah, make sure you show up next week, same time, same place, here on ProBots at 7:30 p.m. Eastern to check it out. If you are in the Crown Club, go check out our website, probotsai.com. If you want to become a supporting member, you get access to PostBots, where we're going to be talking with bot authors, doing interviews, talking about how these bots have come to be. So make sure you check that out if you need more ProBots content. We have it for you. That's pretty much it, Endersword. We did it.
Yep, we did. We did indeed. And yeah, thanks for watching. Everyone, remember, like the video, sub to the channel, share this on social medias.
Tell your
various
friends.
Ones. Yeah, on the Reddits, the X's, the whatevers.
Oh yeah, the X.
Yeah,
whatever that website is now.
Yeah.
No, just go. We do have a Reddit thread every week, so yeah, go check that out. Hit a little thumbs up, get a little more visibility if you want. But yeah, that's going to be it for us tonight here at ProBots. Again, big shout out to our production, making such a good show. All our bot authors, thank you all so much for such amazing bots. We get a lot of really good entertainment out of this, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, we've got 5 more weeks of this, so come back every single week, and then we'll have our grand finals where we're going to have humans versus bots as well. So make sure you stay tuned for all of the fun stuff coming up in the next month and a half or so to come. Should be a good time. All right, let's go get some dinner, Endersword. I'm hungry. I need to. It's evening for me. I know it's 2:30 a.m. for Cryptius. Some of you EU guys. So thank you for staying up late if you did, and hopefully we'll see y'all next week. Have a good night, y'all.